Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 14th to the 20th of March 2016. This week we approach the spring equinox, which happens at the middle of next week, and that makes this a week of final clearing, so that we can be less dense, we can step up in a level of consciousness to meet the new cycle. So the stars have come out in force, and there are many aspects to unpick this week. But starting with the big one, we have Jupiter trine Pluto. Now a trine is a massive harmonic angle, those two planets working, their frequencies meeting at a very harmonic vibrations, so they're working together, and it's a very strength building and uplifting aspect in the signs of Earth. So we have Jupiter in Virgo and Pluto in Capricorn. And this is going on all week. This is very much to do with our self-worth, to do with stepping into our power, to do with getting rid of anything that's belittling or limiting and realizing our fullness. So a very, very helpful aspect here, asking us to take on the smaller challenges, but to always come from that place of self-worth, from that bigger magnificence. So when we look at the element of Earth and we pair it up with self-worth, then we can see that we have been programmed to imagine ourselves as little and small, as separate and lacking, and looking for things outside of ourselves that we should already be nurturing and developing within ourselves. And that's very much the theme of this week. So you can even see it with phrases. We're taught that we need to earn money, that somehow we don't deserve it until we've put some action and some thought into it, until we've performed properly, and then we'll get rewarded with money. But money is just a resource, it's a flow, it's the ability to do what we want when we want, it's the agent that allows that to happen, and the whole world has been set up financially so that we can't have that, and we need to spend our time, we need to give our time to certain activities in order to be rewarded with something from the outside, in order to be able to have what should already naturally be ours. We're the only creature on the planet that pays to be here. This is an artificial system, so we're within that system and we still have to play by the rules, but just the realization that we don't have to earn anything, we already are enough, then that's very important, and one of the realizations that can come through from this trine. In astrology, the two biggest subjects that I discuss with clients are money and love. So we've looked at money and the fact that we do deserve and we can receive, and it's just a facilitator, but it's not something that we should be running after. Then the same applies to love. If you look at earning somebody's respect, then you can't earn the respect of another if you don't have self-respect. So going out and looking for other people's validation is just as false. It's very much, well, why would you respect somebody who hasn't got respect for themselves? If they're disrespecting you and you're a respectful person, then what value is their perspective? So it's very important this week to make sure that everything's solid on the inside, that core strength, Pluto in Capricorn really firming up our foundations, and Jupiter in Virgo firming up our beliefs and our mind-body connections. So it's all about going in this week. It's all about realising your own self-worth and not looking for anything from the outside first, with a perspective that you don't have it and you need to receive it, but to give everything to yourself first and to nurture that core inner self. So with that as the strong backdrop, we have some quite challenging aspects coming up as well, which are necessary because going through these challenges will actually firm up our real selves, our true beliefs, our core strength in the process. So we begin the week with Venus moving into Pisces. So Venus in Pisces can see through the veils, can feel through the veils, can actually feel into the vibrational world, and can actually tune into intuition very, very strongly, what feels right, what's intuitively right, what vibrates and resonates is probably right. So we're tuning in with Venus in Pisces for the next few weeks, setting our emotional compass, setting those vibrations to the heart to really feel into the truth of things rather than believing thoughts or actions. A lot of the activity this week is going on in the last third of the zodiac. So for me, the first 4 signs, the first third of the zodiac, about the me. That's Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. That's about the me, the essential self on earth. And then the next third of the zodiac, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, are about the myself. That's our experience here. That's what we're learning and what we're actually engaging with. But then Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius and Pisces, the last 4 signs, the last third of the zodiac, are about the I, which is the soul expression, which is the purpose, which is the realization. So we have the me, myself and I. And this week all the activity is going on in that third part of the zodiac. So we're here to really upgrade our soul expression, to really resonate on the highest possible lesson through these challenges. So it's worth keeping that in mind as we go through them day by day. So these challenges are brought to us by square aspects in the chart, and a square is unlike a trine, which is a very big harmonic, 2 planets resonating very harmoniously. A square is an aspect where 2 planets are at an angle of 90 degrees and their wavelengths clash. This causes discord, necessary discord and challenge. So we have lots of squares in the chart this week, and they'll be coming up day by day. I have written a write-up on my In the Stars This Week page on astrozo.com to go through these one by one. So we have Mars in Sagittarius squaring off with Venus in Pisces. So we've discussed Venus in Pisces as getting back to that soul worth, that value, that heart flow, and realizing what we value on a soul level. And we have Mars in Sagittarius making a square aspect this week. So if we break that down, Mars, masculine, dynamic, fire in Sagittarius, which is also a fire sign, so a very masculine and direct and fiery aspect, squaring off with Venus in Pisces, which is a very feminine and watery aspect, both in the old soul signs of the zodiac. So although Mars and Venus, when they're at disharmonic angles, can actually bring in relationship problems on the physical realm, what we're dealing with here is the meaning of that and how we're growing and expanding on the soul realm. So the real question at the beginning of the week is, are we in balance with those 2 energies? Do we have the fire and water balanced? Do we have inner harmony? Do we have an inner relationship? That would be better focus of attention than projecting onto partners or overthinking relationship issues. We also have Saturn making squares to Mercury and to Jupiter. So there's some teaching going on here. Saturn isn't just teaching us tough lessons from the outside for no apparent reason. It's our backbone and what we want to learn. So the question midweek is, what did I want to learn here, rather than why is the universe having a go at me? So Saturn in Sagittarius square Mercury in Pisces, another Sagittarius-Pisces square going on, just like the Mars and Venus one. But with this one it will be teaching us to align our thoughts with the highest, to get rid of programming, to get rid of repeat stories, to get rid of the narrative on the lower level and actually reach up with Mercury to tune into higher thought forms, to elevate and consider things from a higher perspective. Saturn square Jupiter has an expand contract or a contract expand energy to it. Saturn tends to bring everything in and get back to the course, to strip back, and Jupiter wants to expand into magnificence, so there'll be a bit of a push and pull or a breathing in and out going on with that square through the week as well. And all of these aspects will be working away on us in the background this week, some things coming to the foreground and shown to us through experiences, but it's very much to tone us up. It's very much just to get rid of any dross and any negativity so that we can actually step forwards feeling much more light and yet strong. So things can only come up if we have something inside of us that needs to come up. So this week it's about gentle kindness, it's about being honest with ourselves, it's about releasing and letting go of whatever we have been made aware of and actually brought into calibration. So if something comes up, we do have to go in and take a look at it. We can't just run away. But once we've got the message of it, then we only need to take forwards the awareness, not all of the baggage. So this is always the case just before the spring equinox, but these charts are very strong. I feel that we're in a particularly powerful time in the great cycle, and the necessary work done now will actually be very uplifting, very essential, but leave us much more empowered as a result. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week. Like I say, I do have a write-up of these on my website, astrozo.com, in the stars this week, if you'd like to step one by one. And I do post these on Facebook, so do come and find me there as well. There's a beautiful private Facebook group as well, where you can come and join us and post your chart up and actually find out where these energies are happening for you, because they're happening for us all in different places according to your personal birth chart. We also discuss surrounding topics and how we can work actively with these energies and apply them. Or if you feel like you'd like a bit of guidance this week with a one-to-one, then I'm available on Skype or in person in London, and we can take a look at what is going on for you personally in your own birth chart. When I do birth charts, I do like to teach a bit of astrology as well as deliver, so if you do have a one-to-one reading, then you get to have a copy of your birth chart and learn it as you go along, and I always provide videos for further learning as well afterwards. So one-to-one readings, very appropriate, especially this week. Like I say, it's such a powerful time that we're going through as individuals but also as a collective. And finally, if you'd like to engage with learning this on your own, in your own space and time, then I have a series of online courses for which you receive video and notes, and you can work at your own pace and have access to myself to ask questions as you go along. So I do recommend that you get your chart, that you start to learn it, that you start to meditate on it, that you start to reconnect with your own planetary alignments and your own purpose in this lifetime in whichever manner suits you.